I feel like it's really important to speak up because there is so much that is trapped in our voices, and we don't really get to really know that it's trapped until we are told to release our voices. And yeah, I feel like it's really important to go to a space where you can do that. I went to Othership last week and I had an amazing session. But that session really brought attention to my voice because we had to breathe in and breathe out, saying like, ah. And you notice the blockage, or at least I noticed the blockage in my throat. And I didn't feel, the first was like, ah, like I did not allow myself to breathe out with volume until after a few tries I finally felt comfortable enough to really exhale and really unclog the voice. And I feel like the reason why you feel that ball in your throat has to do with feelings of safety, has to do with feelings of insecurity, has to do with feelings of not feeling worthy, has to do with feelings of caring about other people's opinions, their judgments in particular. And so when you are out of that energy and you're elevated by people that genuinely care about allowing you express yourself, people that are genuinely interested in healing themselves too, just being in that community of people that are there for a shared purpose, it really allows you to make progress. It really allows you to express your being, the light that is within you. I can't explain how I felt after that session, that ice bath, the plunging that we did, the sauna session that I had. Everything that day was just a total release of blockages. The way I was laughing and smiling after that session and being so loud, like my voice was literally like full of energy and hope and innocence, things that I've had to compress as I grew older from childhood. Yeah, it's amazing to get to experience what your unblocked self is like, because that's really you. When you express that energy and when it comes out so naturally and so lightly, to me, I just want to be able to live in a world where we can create more harmony and create more opportunities for people to. I'm distracted now because I see someone outside. Yeah, but to create more opportunities for us to really speak our minds and speak out loud as we wish to speak. I don't mean being loud. I don't mean being a loud person. I mean literally just being able to express yourself openly. And knowing that even by doing that, you're opening yourself up to different energies. No matter what you say, you're going to express, you're going to invite other energies. difference between people that can deal with that and people that can't deal with that is that the people that can deal with that are people who are aware that they're going to get that regardless, and they know that deep within them they have a knowing of who they are, really, so that anything that happens from the outside does not interfere with their insides. The people that are not prepared to handle themselves internally, or the people that don't have a healthy relationship with themselves, you know, those are the people that are going to be damaged by the other energies. And there will always be tests. I'm going to be tested, you're going to be tested. That's just what's going to happen either way. If you decide to release yourself and speak up and talk about stuff, you're going to have to experience that. There isn't any there aren't any two ways about, like, there isn't any two way about it. Like, how do you even say that shit? Like, there's no two ways about it. It's going to happen. But yeah, part of developing that self-confidence is really being around people that are trying to do the same, and also being very aware of your emotions, being aware of who you are, being aware of how you respond to triggers, being aware of how you manage your triggers, being aware of things that drain your energy away, and things that drain away your energy and things that enrich your energy. And most of all, just having the trust that everything that happens eventually leads back to where you're meant to be. So I don't really know what I just said. I'm sure that some people might understand that. Like, I'm sure I would understand that if I go back and listen to this video. But there's some things you just need to let yourself speak about it. And even if it doesn't make sense, or you think it doesn't make sense to other people, there are people that would grab on that, and there are people that would be inspired by that. There are people who would be able to have their lives changed by that. And so I think it's very important to do that. Most of the time, I struggle with perfectionism because I do feel a level of insecurity around putting myself out there. And like with everyone, not everyone, but like with a lot of people that have so much to give, but they are not able to give that because they feel like whatever they put out there is not worth anything. Well, it is worth something. There isn't any reason for it to not be worth anything. I mean, because we're all going to the same place at the end of the road. At the end of life, we all meet whatever it is we meet. So in some ways, yes, it doesn't really matter, but your voice does matter, because I've noticed now that one action influences another person, that influences another person, and ultimately the cycle goes round. And everything that happens is a circulation of energy through which we learn and grow from and evolve. So yeah, it's very important to put yourself out there. I know how deeply important it is, but I still fucking struggle with my mind. My mind is very gosh, like everyone, like my mind is like don't. And because I'm so used to that way of thinking for so many years, it's like it gets to a point where it's tiring. And like, I'm tired, I don't care, please just leave me alone and let me do this. There's a video that I watched, which I'm going to talk about another time, but it was basically showing you how to do hard things. And I think that the key thing I got out of this is to expect that it's hard. Anything that you do outside of your comfort zone is going to be difficult as fuck. But just knowing that already helps you go ahead and do it, because you know that it's supposed to be that way. if you're expecting to do something new or change your way about doing something, and you don't expect your mind to want to get back from it, to stop, to find a way to get you out of doing that new thing you're doing, if you don't expect those things to happen within you, then it's going to be all the more challenging. So you having the awareness that everything that you're trying to do now that is new, it's going to be tough initially. But the more you put yourself out there and the more you practice and the more you understand that it's really not that big of a deal, it's going to be much easier. And it's also the thing of not pressuring yourself to do something really large. Like if you have like a big goal and you break it into small steps, then it's so much easier than just doing that huge thing at once. Like, for example, let's say you have like a workout goal. You don't have to do an hour or 30 minutes of a workout to say that you've achieved something or to believe that you've achieved something. Do 1 minute of the work. Do one crunch. Do one sit up. Do one squat. Literally just do one, and that's the tick for the day. The next day, do one. If you feel like doing two, do two. That's your new goal from there. You move up, you continue, and then eventually you find that you're able to do 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours of just pure workout. Or like on the days you don't feel like doing it, you can always say 1 is enough, 2 is enough. You don't have to not do your goal because it's not 30 minutes. You know? Like, just as long as you measure progress, don't measure the goal. The goal is to progress. So instead of having to create something measurable, create something that's not measurable, which is taking the action instead of doing X action or X number of actions. Literally just do one. Sorry, that's not what I meant. Literally just measure. The tick is that you've done it. It's literally just 2 options. You either do it or you don't do it. That's how you measure the progress. If you use any other metric, there's just more of that pressure for you to get things done, and that leads to perfectionism. That leads to you eventually not doing shit because you have too high of an expectation when you're just starting out. You need to allow yourself to be foolish in the beginning, to be silly. Even though you're not, you're learning. That's exactly what it is. When you're a baby and you're learning to walk and talk and do all the things you know how to do today, do you think it took you 1 or 50 tries to do that? It took you even more than that to get standing. But the way you took that when you were small, or the way you were when you were young, that's the same mindset you should use now. Because when you're younger, you just know it's part of the process. You don't get, like, I don't see any baby angry when they fall on the ground. Sorry. I don't see no baby angry when they fall, bro. When a baby falls, the baby understands that it might not even understand. And I'm sorry I'm saying it. Babies are they're babies. But like, yeah, they don't realize that. They just know that they know what it's going to be eventually. Like, they're trying to stand, so they know the goal is to stand for a longer period of time. I don't know how they measure goals as babies, but anyway, the goal exactly is to just progress. That's really the main thing. So everything else that you're worried about, if you're scared about not being able to achieve a certain goal, if you're scared about not being able to get to a certain height, if you're scared about all those things, just watch whether you're doing something that's actively directing you to that goal or not. It's about progress. You can only get to the goal through the progress. You don't jump from here to here in a day or in a minute. It doesn't take a plant to grow in a day. It takes time. But it takes that continuous planting of the seed, the continuous nourishment of the seed, and the continuous care, the continuous focus, the continuous balance for it to bloom. That's really how life works. It's not a one-day thing. It takes continuous effort. So the expectations are just way too high. You need to bring them down for a start. I'm reaching the end of my motivational talk right now. And you know, the thing about most of these talks is that when people put themselves out there and decide to speak on things, oftentimes people don't realize that that advice is for them directly. It's not really that I'm advising you. Like, I am aware that I'm speaking to you, but I'm also very aware that I'm speaking to myself because I need this pep talk for myself. So when someone slips up, when someone does not follow through with the things they say, it's not always because they're incompetent. It's never actually because of that. It's more so because it takes time. It's training. Someone that gives you advice is not an expert. No one here is a guru. No one here is a master of life. Nobody here knows better than other people. The only difference between those that advise and those that do not advise is those that advise have seen through self-reflection, through observation, through noticing their environment, things that work for them. Again, the things that work for them. Things that work for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. There are things that could be beneficial to you if you try them out, if you incorporate them. At the end of the day, it's energy. Because if that energy of that person advising you shakes something within you and you feel called to do that thing, or you feel a certain level of emotions, positive emotions doing that thing that they've advised you, that means the vibration is there. It's correlated. They've attached their energy and it's working for you. It's not everyone that gives you advice that you're going to feel connected to, to what they're saying. But just that alone can tell you that there's certain elements of truth within things that people say, even if it's different from what you believe, even if it's different from your way of doing things. If you feel connected to something that someone's saying to you, feel free. It might be there for a reason. You might feel this way for a reason. For your own good, possibly, most likely. But yeah, just go with whatever you feel drawn to. Go with whatever you try that feels rejuvenating to you. No one is saying you should do one thing and not try other things. And don't blame those same people who are trying other things, who are giving you the advice and they decide to change their mind about something and do something else. If they feel truly like that resonates with them and the change they're making is good for them, then you're in no place to judge them. You're in no place to say, to start being negative, to start being a hater. Because at the end of the day, people change. Change is the only constant here. There is nothing here that's stagnant. This entire earth is a movement on its own. Like, So yeah, expect change. If you're listening to someone and they keep preaching the same thing, that means they're still in that vibration and it's working. It's good for them. It's working. Maybe other people have been influenced by that. That means there's, again, that vibration. It matches with them. They're on that same frequency. So whenever there's a change in frequency, it's because there's change. There's something else now that they're called to do or be. So flow. Don't depend on anyone. Don't depend on anyone's ways. Don't depend on anyone's structure. Don't depend on anyone's way of living, one's way of doing things. I'm not saying abandon that or don't ever pay attention to it. I'm saying that recognize how these attachments affect you, positively, negatively. Notice whatever continues to serve you, please go ahead. Or whoever continues to serve you, please go ahead. But when something isn't aligned anymore, feel free to explore other things. Feel free to explore other strategies, other methods, other ways of being. Don't limit yourself because, oh, it's the tradition to do that. A lot of us are tied in that mindset. There's a lot of wisdom in things of the past, but there is also wisdom in being able to use that, learn from that, and progress with that. I'm not saying abandon anything. Once again, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to cause any turbulence. That's not the point. Of course, there will be turbulence when you try to be someone else, when you try to change, when you try to leave a certain situation, move on, try to get a new job, try to move to a new country, try to be a higher individual is what I would call, or move from, one way of being to another. It will shock them, sorry, but I have to say that. It's going to be shocking. People don't expect people to change. Ideally. Like, not ideally, on a regular. Like, we keep trying to attach our views of other people onto them. But that's not who they are. They're ever changing, they're ever different. There was a video I watched where I think it was Alan Watts that was saying, some people might look at you as timid. Some people might look at you as confident. Some people might look at you as loud, some quiet. You are different versions to different people, but the only one version that exists to you is you. You know you. No one else knows who you are. No one else can be in your brain and tell you who you are, because you know who you are. No one else does. Everyone knows parts of you, but they don't know the whole thing. You might not even know the whole you. Like, there are people out there that will help you discover that within you. That's kind of what life is also about. You discovering different parts of yourself. But yeah, live your life according to what you're drawn to, according to what you know is the right thing to do. Measure things that serve you, measure things that don't serve you, and heal the things that don't serve you. Continue nourishing the things that do, or doing the things that do nourish you. So if for me, that's the arts, if for me, the art is what nourishes me, if the thing that nourishes me is speaking to myself in the camera and feeling purposeful as I'm doing that, then good, keep doing it. If there is someone or something that drains your energy away, you have to find a way to heal, resolve whatever it is that is there, or distance yourself and eliminate that thing. Don't give your energy or power to someone or something. Don't. Not even to the people that you're watching online, to the people that you look up to. Look up to them. That does not mean attach everything or every part of you to them. The reason why they're even looked up to is because they look up to themselves. So much so that they do not require, like, they're blocked to the other energies. They're just fully in tune with who they are. That's why people look up to other people. Or it might be one of the reasons. I don't know what the real reason is. I can only know for my own self why I am drawn to some certain people that I watch. I'm drawn to them because either I want to be like them or have some qualities that they have, or I see within them the version of me that I could be, which still ties to the first point. So either way, there is always something to learn from every single experience. There's something to learn from. I have been talking about a variety of topics right now, by the way, so I don't even know where we started and where we are at now. Like, it's just like I've been saying whatever, but like all these things I'm saying, I guess there are things that I have been wanting to talk about, things that I've had ideas about, but I just haven't openly shared them. But yes, I do feel very strongly to just mention all these points because they're all important points and they're all things that I feel like people think about but don't talk about. They're things that people experience but maybe don't want to say. And yeah. You need to realize that this is your path. This is your journey. No one is going to walk this journey but you. So whatever it is that you're inspired by, whatever it is that you're motivated by, make sure that you give yourself the freedom and the courage and the ability to really just get up and do that thing for your own good. So you don't look back on your life and think about all the regrets that have come out of you just not making this one decision, of just stepping into your power and stepping into your essence and stepping into who you know you can shine to be by simply shining in the first place. You need to acknowledge who you are as a being and have the confidence to embody the beauty that's within you. That's what you need to do. It doesn't matter what A, B, C, D person says to you. What matters is that you finally give yourself the courage to act on the thing that gives you that spark. That's really what it's all about. All this motivation, all these videos you're watching, all these books you're reading is really just it's a form of procrastination. What you really want is to act, and you need someone to tell you to act. You need someone to push you to act. What you need is the final push now. You need the final push. You can have all these people telling you things, but you are still the only person who has to make that final decision. It makes no use if there are 100 people in the room telling you some different shit. And all those people springing around you are trying to say something to you. But you can't be influenced by anything they're saying until you decide to finally take the action. You need to act. That's really the only thing you need to do. And that's the only thing all these books are talking to you about. Act and experience your life. Act and learn, act and grow. You're afraid of acting. You're afraid of taking action, the next step. You're afraid of what might come when you do that. Yes, things will happen, things will fall, people will fall apart. In order to make way for new people, new experiences, new opportunities. But you don't realize that that's still part of the cycle. Every single decision you make is going to result in a change that will ultimately lead to other changes that will ultimately lead. This is what is growth. This is what is called growth. Change after change after change. Obstacle down after another obstacle, after another obstacle, after another obstacle. All these obstacles are going to fall. Like, you're going to meet obstacles, other obstacles would fall. Meet obstacles, like, that's just what's going to happen. You can't stop that process from happening. It's going to happen. But it's better to do that and really experience that growth you seek to experience than to stay in one decision for the next 5 years and live in regret and start being angry and start being all negative and, you know, what do they call it again? Womp womp. You know, like, nobody wants to experience that feeling. So do the things that you can do for yourself so that you don't put yourself in that position. That should scare you. But it should also inspire you to get up and do it. Again, I use those words because those are the only words that I could use. There's so many other words I could use. I'm trying to round up now because I'm leaving. But then again, it would always remain that one thing. No, it doesn't matter what anyone else tells you. If you don't act and get up and do something, then it's all pointless. It's all pointless. That thing, nobody's going to drag you to act. No one is going to like, literally no one is going to do that. You can only drag yourself to the point you want to get to. And oftentimes we find ourselves as the point that we're getting to. Because you're going to be in your body in every single stage of this experience. So you need to honor that. You need to honor yourself. You need to honor your body. You need to honor your mind and your spirit. Because you're still going to meet yourself at the end of the ride. So how do you want to meet yourself? Who do you want to see at the end of this ride? There are many different versions of you. What version is highest? That's where you should strive. Strive inwards, grow inwards, and your out would look just as beautiful as what that inner is, what that inner state is like for you. So this is what it's all about. It's about attracting that reality to you. You can only attract that reality by changing what's inside. You need to cleanse. You need to vibrate and attract all that good stuff to you. Because that's what it is. It's a change of vibe. A change of vibe means that you change literally the vibe outside. Legit. It's been nice experiencing that for myself. And I encourage you to please do the same. Because it's wonderful to put yourself in a situation where you can really appreciate growth. appreciate life. So that's what it is. That's my talk. That's my pep talk. That's my pep talk. It's 40 minutes. That's what I really wanted to do. It wasn't to go outside, it was to give this. I'm still gonna go outside though, but like, I did all this dressing up because I wanted to step into some energy. And I stepped into that energy by sitting down, choosing to sit down here and press record without having anything in mind to say. I literally just sat down here and started speaking. And I don't give a fuck about the results. I might give a fuck after when I start to watch and analyze. But in the very moment of this feels really good to have let all this out. Because we need to help other people do the same. I don't want a world where we're all repressed, where we're all feeling like we can't express ourselves, where we're feeling like our opinions are worthless. Of course, there are people that would think that way, because it's still not very common. It's not something that we're used to doing. I mean, we go on the bus or the train and we're all quiet and we don't talk to no one. Fine. It's not part of the system. It was. It now isn't. But we're opening it up now to where it really should be. This world should be about empowerment. It shouldn't be about repression. And I speak about that in my poems, in the stuff I write about. I want to see a community where we really get to be free. And free to me is having full creative self-expression. You can always have that any day, any moment now within yourself. But for me, it's about sharing that energy and giving everyone the chance to do that. Because once we all go into that vibration, that would be the norm. And that would make us a social being. That is what would make us human. Because right now we're not really being human. We're not using all our senses and all the attributes that have come with being human, which I believe a big part of being human is being social. Doesn't mean being all speaky to every single one, but it just means having the natural instinctual ability to express without having to doubt, without having to go through fear. I know our minds were made to somehow do that. But I think that's what we've told ourselves. I think the mind can be a very beautiful engine. I think the mind is an engine that's so freaking wonderful. Once we know how to work with our minds.